and welcome to Portland, Oregon. My name is Jeremy Shaw, joined once again by James Hinchcliffe. And James, you had a good weekend, a couple of poles and a couple of second place finishes here in Portland. Looking at the weather conditions now, it's dry at the moment. Very different conditions to yesterday.
Yeah, Jeremy, yesterday it was raining, and the Portland track here differs a lot from wet to dry. Not only that, now that it's rained, all the rubber from the beginning of the weekend's been washed away, and these guys are going to be getting on this track, and it's going to be different from what they've been used to.
Yeah, qualifying in Friday was in the dry. That is when the grid positions were set, but yesterday it was very, very wet. And we still saw the same sort of characters running up at the front. Great place to go racing here in Portland with the Pacific Northwest in Portland, Oregon. And James Hinchcliffe, this is a great place to go racing.
Fantastic, fast-flowing circuit here at Portland International Raceway. And as you head down the front straight into the famous festival curves, 175 miles an hour down to just 50. Best passing opportunity. Look for action in the first corner. Then into a sequence of fast-flowing corners. It's all about rolling speeds through corners 4 and 5, decreasing radius through 6 and 7. Again, flowing speed. High minimums is the key. Get a good shot down that back straight into the super quick chicane through 10-11. Very, very brave part of the race circuit here. And then a good shot onto the front straight as corner 1 is your best passing opportunity here at Portland.
Yeah, and with a standing start, this is going to be oh so exciting. Last 15 years in Portland, we have not seen a repeat pole sitter. We have now. Justin Wilson also was on the pole 2 years ago. Robert Dornbos, an excellent effort to start on the front row alongside him. Sebastian Bourdais unhappy with his car. Alex Tagliani alongside.
Starting on the inside of row 3, Tristan Gomedy, an impressive run for PKV, and the first of the Team Australia cars, Simone Pagenaud, on the outside. Down to the 4th row, Will Power in his worst start of the season. Look for him to move up, and Graham Rahal, a little bit disappointed with how he's been doing so far this weekend.
Yeah, but he was very quick yesterday in the wet. And in the row 4 is Dan Clark. Row 5 is Dan Clark. He struggled this season in the second of the Minardi Team USA cars, but he's done a good job this weekend in qualifying. Oriol Servia, he's back in the series, but now in the number 7 car, taking over from Mario Dominguez. Jan Halen making his debut this season, now driving instead of Matt Halliday for Conquest Racing. And Paul Tracy, way back there on row 7, he crashed on Friday. We're getting ready for the start. There is our pole sitter. Look at the in-car cameras. Graham Rahal, Justin Wilson and Neil Jarney are going to bring us some fantastic pictures this afternoon. Once the last car is lined up on the grid, they'll get a 15-second board, and there are the lights to start this race. We'll see 4 lights lined up in sequence, and then when the lights go out, the race will be on. The fever is building here. This is going to be tremendously exciting. We're waiting a long time for these standing starts in the Champ Car World Series, and Tony Cotman, the race director, told him he's going to give them a few more seconds to get themselves organised, let the pulses settle just a little bit, because boy, they are really running at this stage in the game, but they want to make sure the cars aren't stationary for too long. We're going to see these lights signed up. As soon as the lights go out, we'll be racing. How about that? Picture perfect down to the first corner. The first 2 cars there, absolutely side by side. Robert Dornbos, he was made an excellent start, but Justin Wilson matched him and held on to that pole position, James.
But it was Will Power who's jumped up from 7th place into 3rd, I think. A fantastic start from the Team Australia car, on board with Graham Rahal now as we head into turn 6. Everybody kind of settling down. We saw 2 cars actually miss the first corner, Jeremy, and to hit the cones, it looked like it was Pagenaud and maybe Tracy.
I think it might have been a PT. Boy, he's had another tough weekend there on the inside. There is PT, however. Boy, he must have made a good start. Maybe it's Oriol Servia that who went off through the chicanes at the first corner. But look at the lead that Justin Wilson has built up on this first lap. Of course, we haven't had any parade laps here, so the tyres were stone cold at the start of the race. That's a great getaway by Justin Wilson.
Absolutely fantastic. And of course, it looks like his teammate Alex Tagliani has jumped from 4th into 2nd. Now, Tag was one of the best in practice for the standing starts here in preseason testing. No, I'm lying. I'm sorry. Tag's fallen back. It is still Dornbos in 2nd.
They are very similar, those black and red cars, and we've got a lot of black cars in the series this season. And yeah, you're right. I think Tag, there is Sebastian Bourdais, so he maintained that 4th place there, because as you say, Will Power made a stunning getaway from the 4th row of the grid, and he was very disappointed with his qualifying run. He was quick yesterday in the wet. He missed only the Metz getting on the front row by only a tenth of a second, less than a tenth of a second, but close is not good enough in the Champ Car Series. It's only the fastest guy in the second session, when the second session is wet, that makes any improvement in his grid position. And the other hard luck story in qualifying yesterday in the wet was Graham Rahal. Just 200ths of a second he missed on his best lap. Otherwise he would have started, if he'd made that 200ths of a second up, he could have started on the front row. As it was, he had to start back on row 4.
Coming down now to complete the second lap, Justin Wilson with a gap now of 1.4 seconds. He's absolutely, 2.1 seconds now. Absolutely storming up at the front of the grid.
Justin Wilson, yeah, absolutely superb. We've seen that before from him here, hasn't he? 2 years ago, he started on the pole for the Rousport team, and he romped away with the race. He was looking good for his first ever victory in the Champ Car World Series until he had a mechanical problem, which was, of course, nothing of his doing. He just coasted to the side of the road. Can he keep it together today?
Alex, let's hope so. And then, of course, last year he had a monumental battle here with AJ Allmendinger. AJ, of course, managed to grab his first ever win in Champ Car that race, but it was a great race between the two of them. So Justin really likes this circuit. It's fast, it's flowing. You've got to be precise, you've got to be smooth, and that's very much Justin's style.
It certainly is. But look at this, Robert Dornbos. Boy, he's done a great job since stepping up into the Champ Car World Series. His first 3 starts, he's come away with 2 podium finishes. That in itself is quite remarkable for this Minardi Team USA. Paul Stoddart buying into that team over the winter. Dan Clark and Robert Dornbos, the teammates there, coming down the straight one more time. You can see they're not allowed to use the power to pass on the first lap down to the first corner. I believe Will Power trying to burst over there. The Cosworth power to pass, a button on the steering wheel. They've got 60 seconds worth of usage of that button during a race. When they press the button, the driver, he gets an extra 300 horsepower, a little bit of extra turbocharger boost pressure as well. It's good for about another 50 horsepower.
And it does help. It's sometimes just that last little bit that you need to get a run on a guy, especially into these festival curves on the first corner. So great battle here for second, third, fourth, fifth. All these cars running nose to tail, but Justin has just left them now over 2.5 seconds in the lead. It's actually Tristan Golmety's the third fastest car on track right now. Justin the quickest, Robert Dornbos second, but Tristan, the PKV car, running very strong so far.
He's done a great job all weekend as Tristan Golmety. He was actually quickest yesterday in the wet. That was before he spun off the road and caused a red flag stoppage. And when you cause a red flag stoppage in a qualifying session, they take away your best time. So heartbreak for Tristan Golmety, but boy, he'd done a fabulous job in that session to set that time. And now he's still a good start in any case. Even without that, he qualified 5th on Friday, far and away his best qualifying effort this season for the PKV team. And once again, leaving his highly touted teammate Neil Jani firmly in his wake.
Yeah, he's been doing a fantastic job. Of course, he's led at a few of the races here.
Let's have a look here at the onboard from Graham Rahal. Might see something interesting. There is Paul Tracy's down now in 15th place because of this on board with Graham Rahal looking at 2 cars ahead. PT just got on the throttle a little bit too hard coming out of turn 6, looped that car around, and PT, boy, he's had another action-packed weekend. He crashed heavily on Friday morning, had to switch to the backup car, and they had problems with that on Friday in qualifying. Yesterday, had a couple of spins in the wet. Boy, he's not very happy, but I did speak to him just after the warm-up session this morning, and he was certainly a little bit happy with the way that car had been handling then.
Well, yeah, the 2 Forsyth cars were 2nd and 5th with Oriole and Paul respectively this morning, so they're coming up to it, but, you know, what you neglected to mention was it was the first lap of Friday practice that Paul managed to put the car into the wall, and then when the backup car had a mechanical problem, it was somehow the team's fault that he had such a horrible Friday. So not necessarily the best return to the seat for Paul Tracy, but he's never really got the feel of this track. He's never done well here. Of course, his teammate AJ Allmendinger last year won this race, and Paul really struggled, and now AJ's engineer from last year, he's on Robert Dornbos's car.
It certainly is. That's Michael Cannon, of course, the race engineer now for Minardi Team USA. You talk about PT. He's never won here at Portland, as you said, but he has had 5 podium finishes, including a 2nd, a 3rd, and a 3rd in 2003, 04, and 05. Plus, he had a pole back here in 1993, a long, long time ago, that must seem now. But PT, yeah, he's struggled. It's great to see him back in the series. Of course, he missed the last 2 races because of the accident he had in practice at Long Beach. Had a compression fracture to his lower back.
Fuel to normal, fuel to normal.
That's Michael Cannon on the radio to put Robert Dornbos down. There's Sebastian Bourdais making a move on Willpower. It doesn't come off. Early stages here in Portland. That was a good move, an attempted pass there by Sebastian Bourdais, but it did not come off, James.
No, he didn't. He wasn't quite close enough to get far enough alongside Will Power. Will very aggressive there, kind of chopped him, but it was clean racing. But now that's given Alex Tagliani the scent of blood, and now he's trying to catch up to Sebastian Bourdais and maybe move his car up a spot.
There is Sebastian Bourdais in fourth place. Justin Wilson leads. Robert Dornbusch in second place. Will Power, then Sebastian Bourdais. This man, the McDonald's car, the three-time defending champion of the Champ Car World Series. Tagliani in fifth. Tristan Gomondi in sixth. And Dan Clark, he made a good start. Graham Rahal, Neil Jarney, and Jan Halen. Boy, has he done a great job this weekend for the Conquest Racing team, running in 10th place. His first race of the season, raced last year with Dale Coyne. He's done an excellent job to get up into the top 10 in the early stages, having just won the day of testing at Putnam Park near Indianapolis a week or so ago.
He's certainly got a handle on this car very quickly, but this is just a great battle going on here. Justin Wilson, he's now almost 6 seconds ahead of the field in only 8 laps. That's just a stonking pace from Justin Wilson, but the battle from 3rd down to 7th, these guys are running lap times within 2/10 of one another all the way down there, so a really good battle there, but at present, it's Graham Rahal did have the fastest lap of the race there for just a moment, but Justin Wilson has responded and taken it back, but still second quickest lap to Graham, so he's on the move as well.
Yes, he is. He's running in 8th place at the moment, ahead of Neil Jarney, but there are almost, over 10 seconds behind the race leader, this man, Justin Wilson. This is a very torrid pace he is setting down. We're expecting the drivers to make 3 pit stops during this race. The first pit stop we expect somewhere around about lap 28 or 29 if there are no cautions. But the early stages, it's all about Justin Wilson and that CDW car.
Patch has got me through it. Looking forward to this.
You ready, love?
I think so. 3, 2, 1.
Group support worked for me.
I got advice by post and email.
There are loads of ways the NHS can help you get rid of cigarettes. To talk to someone about the right way for you to quit, call 0800 169 0169 now or press Z.
Hello there, come to bingo.com, enter the promotional code and get your £5 free play. Remember, bingo online is bingo.com.
Want to be the first to read about new cars? You can't afford to miss a weekly fix of Autocar magazine. With Autocar, you're the first with essential news, test drives, car gossip and the world-famous Autocar road test every week. And every word is written by car enthusiasts for car enthusiasts. Autocar, first for new cars. Don't miss getting your copy. It's out every Wednesday for just £2.30.
I'm one of these people that I'm very fortunate that what I do for a living, I enjoy. Everybody's mother would say to you, it's good to have a trade son. And that's what I done.
Justin Wilson, an excellent start to this race. Look at the lead he has built up, driving of course the CDW car for the R Sports team, the amalgamation of Roo Sports and Rocket Sports Racing. Paul Gentilozzi and Den Pettit, the owners of those two organisations. But Justin has been absolutely stunning. He's just pulling away, leaving everybody for dead. He's pulling away at least a half a second a lap. Up until now, it's been the best part of a second lap. And James Hinchcliffe, this is the incredible early pace that Justin is setting.
Yeah, considering this is usually the stint of the race where they got to save a little bit of fuel to try and make that first stint go just that little bit longer. And Justin's pulling, I mean, technically I think he's pulling up a typical Sebastian Bourdais, and he's being able to save enough fuel, but still absolutely pull away from the field. There's just something about this circuit Justin just loves.
He does indeed. He always says he likes the weather conditions here, just like England really. Yesterday it was raining and today it is not, but the lead is pulled out. It's really quite astonishing. On board here with Neil Jarney, this is the driver's eye view, quite literally, at helmet cam. and it's such it's a wonderful perspective that we have here.
Yeah, it's this is what it looks like from the race car. As you can see, you're seeing a lot of steering wheel, and actually not very. You can't see much in front of you. The closest point that you can see on the road is several hundred feet in front of you, actually, and you can just see here how much the driver's head gets shaken around. And this isn't a particularly bumpy circuit here at Portland, and going through this long turn 4, turn 5 sections, the G-forces that are pushing on Neil's head right now, obviously you can't quite get a feel for it through this camera, but you can see how he's leaning his head into the corners, his hands just working, and this is just a few corners of one lap, so you can just really appreciate how hard this is over a race distance.
It was interesting. Some drivers lean their head into the corners and some don't.
It's a preference. I mean, some guys, it all has to do with the equilibrium you have kind of within your own body. Some guys, they have to lean. It just kind of what makes them comfortable in the corner. And some guys do it because their neck muscles are a little bit weaker, and so they need that extra support. But I typically, personally, I'm a bit of a head leaner, not going to lie. If I try and keep my head straight, I feel off balance when I go through a corner. It's very bizarre.
There's a great on board. You can see the lights there on the top of the steering wheel lighting up across towards the middle. When they converge in the middle, it's time for him to shift gear. Idiot lights, I call them, until the driver went to shift gear. Let's have a look here, a replay of that attempted pass down into the festival curves by Sebastian Bourdais. James?
It was a good attempt. He got quite far alongside Will, but Will was just really late on the brakes. He did leave Sebastian a bit of room. I think Sebastian had to go to the dirt a little bit on the inside, but an aggressive move, but I'd still say fair play.
Yeah, I think Sebastian, I'm sure he feels he's got a much faster car than the Team Australia car in front of him, and I know Will is really relishing this opportunity to battle head-to-head, wheel-to-wheel with Sebastian Bourdais, because he hasn't really had that sort of opportunity yet this season. Out in the first race of the season, he was long gone from where Sebastian was, and since then it's been all Sebastian. The last two races at Long Beach and Houston, Sebastian Bourdais was nowhere to be seen. He was out in front, long gone to the races and winning both of those, and Will Power was relatively at least struggling to keep that pace.
He was a bit docile there, but either way, he's doing a great job now tracking down Robert Dornbos, and Sebastian closed up a little bit that lap, and I think he was thinking about a move into one, didn't quite do it. Figures he's trying to stay behind him, really set up the pass, because you got to make sure you got to time it right here at Portland, because opportunities are rare. So if you get a good run, you got to make sure you're on it at the right time.
Yes, indeed. There's a good there. Just down to the pit lane, Michelle Beisner is with Keith Wiggins, the owner or the co-owner of the Minardi Team USA organization, for this man, Robert Dornbos, running in second place in the early stages.
Team owner Keith Wiggins. Keith, you guys have had a tremendous amount of success this year so far. What do you attribute to that?
Well, I think the team's been fairly competitive since we began, and each year, if you look, apart from 2005 when we had a bit of a glitch, you know, we've progressed every year. And last year was our best year so far, and then this year it's just building on it, consistency. All the crew are the same. We have very good engineers, so it's just the next step. And obviously we've got two very good drivers again this year, so that's just, you know, made that last gelling of all the pieces.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, thanks, Michelle Beisner down in the pit lane there with Keith Wiggins, and he's put together a great organisation, has Keith Wiggins. It's good to see Paul Stoddard involved as well. The OzJet car. Can't get myself right. I've been too long in North America, haven't I? But Robert Dornbos, he has been stunning this season, absolutely superb. But he's now a full 9 seconds behind Justin Wilson after just 12 laps of racing. And as you can see, Dornbos is on the red sidewall tyres, the harder tyres that Bridgestone has brought this weekend, as is Sebastian Bourdais. But did you get a glance of that third place car of Will Power? He's on the blacks, the harder tyres.
Yeah, that's right. The reds are the softer ones. The blacks are a bit harder. So that means, you know, Will's actually doing a phenomenal job here, as Sebastian does take a look. But I'll tell you right now, Jeremy, based on how close these cars are running, Robert Dornbos is definitely holding this field up. The cars behind are faster. With the fast-flowing corners here at Portland, when you catch up to a guy, you do lose downforce, and it is tough to keep pace with them. So it's a tricky track to get by on. You got to make sure you're quick in the right places, and that's onto the two straightaways. So this queue behind him is forming up for a good race, but I think that Robert Dornbos is probably one of the slower cars in this train.
Will Power seems to be sliding around a bit there. That car was certainly sliding a little bit more than it was earlier on through that infield section there, the turn 4, 5, 6 section, and Sebastian Bourdais is right on his tail. There's no way you can pass into that very, very quick chicane, nor down here into turn 11. It's this corner here that Sebastian Bourdais has to get right, get a good run onto the straightaway. Maybe he can use that Cosworth power to pass and perhaps effect a pass down into turn 1. This time around though, I don't think he's quite close enough. They reach 175 miles an hour. Willpower very, very late on the brakes, and nothing Bourdais can do about it at this stage. He's just got to be patient, hasn't he, James?
Well, he keeps getting close, and I think if he were to get onto that Cosworth power to pass, he'd have just that little bit more, which would make it enough to get by him, because he's so close to Will when he gets into the braking zone, and with the red sidewall tires, he's got a little bit more braking potential in that car. So, Sebastian still has, I think, what's he got? He's got 45 seconds left of his push to pass to Will Power's 33, so he has used it, but the last 2 times I've seen him get a decent run on Will, he's elected not to use it. So he's playing it a bit safe there. Like you say, he's got to be patient. He's still saving a bit of fuel, but I think he'd like to get by.
There is the second of the R Sports cars, Alex Tagliani. He's had a good start to the season. He's well up in the points chase after the first 3 races. He's in 4th right now, just 26 points behind the series leader Sebastian Bourdais. And I know that Alex was very disappointed yesterday. Well, actually on Friday, he felt he was held up by Bourdais in qualifying. Nothing was done about it. It was actually yesterday in the wet that he felt he had a really good lap going, perhaps good enough to get P1 yesterday, which would have been worth a championship point. Now, has Bourdais got to run into turn 4? No, he hasn't. Again, he has to tuck back into line. And Bourdais now, he must be beginning to get frustrated, mustn't he?
Yeah, I mean, that was never a move that was going to work. Into turn 4, it's a very, very quick section. There's not a lot of braking there, so unless you're properly alongside the guy, that's just not going to happen. Sebastian, you don't usually see him getting this racy. I mean, he'll try once or twice, and then he might be content to sit back and save fuel, but for whatever the reason, the motivation is, he really wants by that Team Australia car, and he is pushing for it.
Certainly his best opportunity, I would think, would come at the pits. Obviously, he's behind a couple of cars. He should be able to save a bit of fuel. He's not punching the gap through the air that the guys in front of him are. The guy in front of him is the guy at the front of that train, Robert Dornbosch. And if he can just throttle back in there and save a little bit of fuel, maybe he can go in a lap or so longer. But as we heard Michael Cannon say on the radio to Robert Dornbosch, you keep your fuel strategy as you are right now. And we're going to see what pans out. But generally speaking, if you can do a lap or 2 longer than the guys you are pursuing before a pit stop, then running an extra lap or 2 at full speed on these hot, particularly on the red sidewall tires, that should be good enough to enable you to come out several seconds ahead and make that pass effectively in the pit lane.
The only thing that I can think of is the fact that Alex Tagliani is so close to Sebastian Bourdais right now that he just doesn't want to get past. He wants to get by Will to more protect his position rather than be attacked by Alex Tagliani and lose that position. So.
Motors TV will be live from Le Mans for day 2 of scrutineering prior to the running of the world's most important motor race, the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Interviews and analysis of the cars that will compete in this Golden Jubilee, the 75th edition of the 24-hour race. Day 2 of scrutineering live Tuesday, June 12th from 7:30 in the morning and then from 1 in the afternoon.
With Tuxedo's Blue Diamond card, everyone is welcome. Activate instantly, top up and use in millions of locations worldwide. Go shopping, use online and withdraw cash from ATMs. Give a card to family and friends here or overseas, even use to receive your wages. Everything is provided when you get your pay-as-you-go pack, including your prepaid Maestro card. Call free 0800 915 2000 to get yours now. That's 0800 915 2000 or go online.
It's ready. Introducing Gillette Fusion Hydrogel. Fusion's hydrating emollients and lubricants form an invisible layer that protects your skin from the first stroke to the last, adding comfort to your shave. New Gillette Fusion Hydrogel.
If you're a motorsport fan, your dreams are about to become reality. The one and only high-speed television channel is launching its own club. Join Motors TV Club and you'll have the opportunity to attend some great sporting events, as well as to benefit from a selection of impressive offers, invitations and prize draws. You will of course also receive all the latest news and information. Join now, the club for real motorsport fans. For further information and offers, visit www.motorstv.co.uk.
Big night tomorrow? I don't know, I feel like it. Bloated, you know, and constipated.
Try this. New Senecot Dual Relief contains the only formulation that traditionally relieves both constipation and bloating. Try new Senecot Dual Relief tablets, a natural choice for constipation and bloating.
Got heartburn, indigestion? Now there's new Gaviscon Double Action, our best ever formulation to soothe the burning pain of heartburn and neutralise excess acid. For relief you can really feel. New Gaviscon Double Action. What a feeling.
Justin Wilson, 17 laps now in the books. Paul Tracy, we believe, is coming into the pits in the early stages. This will be an early stop, but it's certainly, we think, within the pit window to be able to get to the end on 3 stops. Paul just not happy with the way his Index car number 3 is handling. But look at this, Justin Wilson just way out in the lead. It's been a long, long time since we've been seeing anybody this dominant. Even Sebastian Bourdais doesn't generally pull out 14 seconds in 17 laps, James.
No, this is definitely an extraordinary performance, and it makes me question whether or not he actually is saving fuel, but he's got no reason not to. So if he is in fact saving fuel at this rate, it would be very, very tough for anybody to try and get ahead of Justin Wilson. On board now with Neil Johnny a little bit there. Oh, as PT leaves the pit lane.
Yeah, he's already made his pit stop there. He changed tyres. He's on the black sidewall tyres now, so fill it up with fuel and send him on his way. And if he can turn some quick laps now, you never know, that might certainly work in his favour, but he was a long way back. He was in 15th place, I think he was, before that pit stop, behind Ryan DeYell and ahead of Catherine Legg, Alex Figge, and that was about it. But he's got a lot of ground to make up as PT, and it's just not been the way he wanted to return to the series after that injury.
Yeah, I think more than anything that stop was just to try and get him out of traffic. He was running with some slower cars there. He's definitely got more pace in the PCM cars. And like I said, here in Portland, when you're running behind another car, the turbulent air just makes it so difficult for you to really unleash the potential of your car. So in order to get him some clean air, they made him pit a bit early. I saw a few raindrops on that camera lens in that last shot there, Jeremy. The weather obviously very, very shaky right now, and from what we've seen all weekend, even in conditions just like this, it could start raining at any moment.
Yeah, they've been talking about the possibility of showers this afternoon, so you don't know what's going to happen. Of course, if it were to rain right now, that would not be good for PT, who's got back out on the track. He is still on the lead lap, is Paul Tracy, but he's only over there. Is the gap. You can see Paul Tracy turning into the festival curves, and here is our race leader, Justin Wilson, the CDW car number 9, the red and white car of the R Sport team. And Justin has been head and shoulders above everybody today. Last lap around, another very, very quick lap, 1 minute .774, the best lap so far, a 1 minute .202, so half a second slower than the best he has set in the early stages of this race. He set that best lap on lap 7. Here's a replay of that pit stop for Paul Tracy. You can see him coming in with fuel. doesn't take a lot of fuel, and it's going to take him almost as long as to change the tyres as it does to put the fuel in. And it's a good stop there by Forsyth Championship Racing.
Very clean. Everybody was on their marks, and he got away all right. So you can see now the gap between him and race leader Justin Wilson. So I expect him to fall back one lap down if Justin's able to catch up to him before his pit stop. But at the rate he's going, Paul Tracy's currently running laps that are marginally slower, about half a second slower than Justin Wilson.
Let's look at the race analysis for today. 1.964 mile racetrack. The race will be 1 hour and 45 minutes. Expecting 3 pit stops. First pit stop anywhere between lap 18 or 19 and 28 or 29. And then after that, about every 30 laps, 28, 29 laps. 29 laps we reckon is a regular fuel range. Use about almost a gallon a lap on this racetrack. Power to pass. Cosworth Power to Pass have 60 seconds worth of that. Last year, of course, this race was won by the car number 7 of AJ Allmendinger. In the ride this weekend is Oriol Servia. And Oriol has been struggling a bit this weekend, but as James said a little while ago, much happier with the car after the warm-up this morning, in which he set the second fastest time. Here's another look here at Alex Tagliani diving down the inside of Sebastian Bourdais.
That was a fantastic pass. That was a replay of that pass. We obviously missed it when it first happened, but a fantastic pass from Alex Tagliani. You saw Sebastian Bourdais was looking at Will Power, maybe just hesitated on the brakes a bit to make sure he didn't get into the back of Will, and the last minute Tag just stabbed out there and pulled it off. Really well done.
Great opportunism there for Alex Tagliani. He saw his opportunity and he grasped it with both hands. No second bidding there for Tagliani. What a great pass that was. He will be thrilled with that. He was very disappointed with Bourdais yesterday after the qualifying session. He felt that Bourdais held him up when he was on a very, very quick lap, and at that stage in the wet qualifying session yesterday, Tagliani had already set the fastest time, and he had another good lap going when he was held up by Bourdais, and he was hot afterwards, was Tag, and the team really had to try and calm him down a bit. Well, now he's taken out his anger in the best possible way. He's made a textbook pass of the defending series champion.
Tagliani a bit hot? What are you talking about? How is that possible? No, he was probably doing the little "take that, brother" in his helmet. You know what Tagliani's like. And now he's tracking down Will Power. But that's exactly what Sebastian didn't want to happen. So everything kind of falling apart for Sebastian, but looking really good for the current leader's teammate, our sport teammate, Alex Tagliani.
Yeah, our sports have really made a tremendous amount of progress. They struggled a little bit in the first few races of the season. Of course, Justin Wilson did have a second row start. Michelle Geisner is down in the Walker Racing pit.
Yes, I'm here with Derek Walker. Derek, you used a lot of push to pass to put Will in the position that he's in. Was that part of your strategy?
No, it wasn't. Basically, we opt to go with black tyres, and obviously everybody else is on red, so everybody's pushing him real hard, and he's just being a little generous with that push to pass, a little earlier than we want, but, you know, he's doing a great job out there, so it's a long race.
Thanks a lot, Derek.
Yeah, of course, he had a problem with his power to pass spot in the last race at Houston. Did Will Power? He was, they think he was just pushing the button unwittingly, effectively, on the straightaway. He comes out on the front straight. We're watching Justin Wilson, by the way, trying to get past Paul Tracy. We can't see it on screen, unfortunately. He's trying not to be held up by the almost lapped car of Paul Tracy is our race leader Justin Wilson, but here all the way back at the far end of that big long main front straightaway is this battle of second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh and 8th place Graham Rahal. Here is just on board with Justin Wilson. You can see PT is still ahead of him, and as they came past our booth here, past the start-finish line, there were absolutely nose to tail, and Justin was looking to the inside. So we'll have to have a look out next time around, see whether we can see any blue flags.
I have to say, this is more than half a lap, because I saw Justin on his power to pass. You can see him, his left thumb was on the radio button there. I guarantee you he's screaming over his radio, telling, "Get Paul out of my way." And you know what? Paul is not being a very sportsmanlike driver right now. He's going to go a lap down whether he likes it or not, and he's just holding up Justin Wilson right now. And very, very poor driving, I think, from Paul.
Yeah, Paul's turning his best laps of the race in the last couple of laps. 1 minute, 0.855 he did a couple of laps ago. And now we'll see here is...
Again, he doesn't let him go. Justin Wilson has now wasted I say wasted because he's genuinely wasted 17 seconds of his power to pass on a back marker, on a lapped car. That is absolutely uncalled for on Paul Tracy's part.
Having said that, they're still lapping quicker than anybody else. Last time around, Paul Tracy's lap was a 1 minute 1.3. That is about exactly the same pace that Robert Dornbosch and Will Power and Alex Tagliani, Sebastian Bourdais, and Tristan Gommedy and Dan Clark and Graham Rahal are all doing in that big long train between 2nd and 8th places. So there's no need for Justin to get frustrated here. Yes, he'd like to put PT a lap down. You always want to put PT a lap down, but there's no need to fret. He's got a huge lead. He's almost 18 seconds over the rest of the field, and the key now is to not get carried away.
I guarantee you that's not how he's thinking, though. I mean, as a driver at the front of the race, as we see Ryan Dial, I think, for the PCM team, having his first scheduled pit stop. Justin, there's just no reason. I've been in both situations, actually, of where they are right now. And here we go, Justin Wilson finally, after 2 laps behind him, getting past Paul Tracy.
It's a bit of a gesture there, I fancied, from Justin Wilson. He turned into the corner, a little bit of a wave out of the left-hand side of the cockpit before he gets hard on, well, as he's hard on the brakes, it seemed. But he's now passed, and now he will put some daylight between himself and Paul Tracy. And that lap again, he used the power to pass to make that, to effect that pass. He's down now to 32 seconds worth left. Is Justin Wilson out of the whole minute.
That is half of his allotted time wasted on a lap guy who shouldn't have even been racing him. I'm pretty appalled by that, to be honest.
And if there's a full course caution, that'll bring everybody back up onto the tail of Justin Wilson, and then that is when that lack of Cosworth power to pass will really tell.
Robert Dornbosch, second place driver, has 60. He has all 60 seconds left of his power to pass. So frankly, I mean, Chamco should look at penalizing Paul. He should have to do a drive-through for that. Just absolutely, I don't know. I'm going to stop talking about it because I'm getting frustrated for Justin because I've been in that situation before.
Yeah, we hear Neil Jarney is due in, or he's just actually making his pit stop right now. Bourdais, we're told, will go 3 more laps before making his pit stop. That will be on lap 28, we believe, and that's when we reckon most of the guys are going to be on pit lane. A bit surprised to see Neil Jarney come in that soon. He gave up, I think he was running about in the 11th place at that stage, so he's a long way back in the order, certainly not where he wanted to be. That is Oriol Survey. He's running now in 9th place, and we can see that Alex Tagliani apparently is making a pit stop now as well.
There's Alex Tagliani. Here he is in the pits. Everything seems pretty routine, pretty clean. He's pulled out there as we see Bruno Junqueira in the Sunny Barbecue car just behind him. So here's Tag creeping down pit lane at the mandatory 50 miles an hour, off that button, back up to speed.
And again, a little bit earlier than he would want to, he would generally have made a pit. So I think, I'm sure he's hoping perhaps if he can get these tyres up to speed really quickly, really well, maybe he can make up enough time to get ahead of the cars that it was ahead of him. That would be Robert Dornbosch and Will Power before, by the time they make their pit stops. But generally speaking, works in the favour of the guys
down here with
longer.
Justin Wilson. They are taking off the optional tyres. They are putting the primary black wall tyres onto the car. And as I take a look at those red wall tyres, the Bridgestones that came off the car, they look like they've taken a beating.
Thanks, Bill Stevens there in the CDW pit of the R Sport team. The first pit stop completed for Justin Wilson. Robert Dornbosch leads the race at the moment. He will do another lap or perhaps 2 before coming onto the pit lane. That will certainly be of benefit to him. And Justin Wilson, we believe, came out of the pits around about 5th place as he came across the line, perhaps. I think he'll drop a little bit lower than that possibly, but other people now are sequencing through in for their round of pit stops. There's Tristan Gommedy as well, and Dan Clark leave the pit lane nose to tail, actually, so it must have been a good start by Dan Clark. Here is the Team Australia.
That's Simone Pagenaud, number 15 car. He pitted from just outside the top 10, I believe, and he's now back on track. As Paul Tracy screams by, he's now picking up a few positions, obviously, because he had his earlier pit stop and was able to run very quick laps, very similar to Justin Wilson, after he got out of the pits, as we see Alex Figge now pulling out of his stall.
And here are the race leaders. There is Robert Dornbosch and Will Power. Nose to tail, Sebastian Bourdais staying out 1 more lap. So that's a good stop, a good strategy for him. Also, Graham Rahal does what
Robert Dornbosch will be coming in just a moment. It's interesting that his team told him not to worry about mileage too much. I think they anticipated rain today. So now that he is in the pit, they'll refuel that car. But in the early going, they told him, don't worry about mileage.
Wow, that was close. Look at that. He got him out ahead, though, of Robert Dornbosch. A great stop there by Walker Racing Team Australia. They get Will Power out of the pits ahead of Robert Dornbosch.
And not only that, Will Power started the race on black tires where everybody else had done it on the red tires. Now, Robert Dornbosch is going to have to let Will Power go here, and he is. You saw him being patient there. But now Will is on the softer softer, slightly faster tires, so he's gotten ahead of the second place man, and he's got better tires.
There's a new nose cone there for Oriol Survey. He's made some sort of a mistake out on the track. He comes in for service there in the Forsyth Championship Racing Team. As we're waiting now for Sebastian Bourdais and Graham Rahal to come onto pit lane on 1 lap later. They've managed to do 29 laps it will be for Bourdais and Rahal. Here is Sebastian Bourdais. And Cameron Steele is in the Newman House Lanigan pit.
And yes, Greg Hampson was upset with the way things were running early in the race just by the traffic, wishing Dornbos would get moving. He said no changes in the car. Sebastian is not complaining at all. He says everything is good. They're just trying to get better track position.
And it's worked. There goes Graham Rahal as well, and they are out way ahead of Will Power and Robert Dornbos. There is Graham Rahal locking up the brakes down into turn 1. He's going to go through those. As long as he doesn't make up time or distance over the other guys, he will not be penalised.
That's kind of a tough one to judge because they weren't really close enough to really see how that was going to work out, but I think he will probably get away with that as he heads through turn 4 now. Obviously no tire warmers here in the Champ Car World Series, so they're coming out. The tires are very cold, the air temperature is fairly cold, the track temperature is not that hot, so it's taking these guys a little bit longer to get up to speed with these Bridgestone tires.
Yeah, it is. It's quite cool today. It's only about 60 odd degrees, so a lot cooler than it often is up here in the Pacific Northwest, but that was certainly great strategy by the Newman House Lanigan team. They're seeking, it's a 100th win this weekend. A remarkable effort. The first win, of course, way back in 1983 with Mario Andretti when Paul Newman and Carl Haas set up this team running Lola chassis. It's been a long ride since then, but this man Sebastian Bourdais has won 25 races for the Newman Haas team, and now with Mike Lanigan joining the operation as well this season. On board again with Justin Wilson. 30 laps completed of the Mazda Champ Car Grand Prix of Portland, presented by Joe's Sports and Outdoor. And it's been all Justin Wilson in the early stages of this race. He put that CDW R Sport car on the pole position, and he's never been even vaguely challenged. His lead before the round of pit stops was about 18 seconds. Good strategy by Newman House Lanigan Racing saw its man Sebastian Bourdais jump from 4th to 2nd after that first round of pit stops. He did 1 extra lap, and they've really done a good job to get him up into 2nd place.
Yeah, I think he was 5th actually, Jeremy, because Tagliani made that pass on him. So from 5th to 2nd, fantastic job, fantastic strategy from the Newman House Lanigan cars. Again, on board with Neil Johnny here, following, who is he behind? Trying to find him. Catherine Legg, it looks like. And this is as they're ripping up the back straight there. The shift lights that Jeremy alluded to earlier go towards the center of the screen. On front of the driver there, you can't really make out the LED screens that are below those lights, but it's a dashboard that gives a driver a series, different pages of information about what the car's doing, temperatures. You can get things like brake pressures, wheel speeds, lap times, split times. There's actually quite a bit of information that the driver can get from that steering wheel, so there's a lot to pay attention to, a lot of flashing lights to try and distract you. You got to make sure you keep a good head on your shoulders. But Justin Wilson, the CDW car, heading down the front straight again to put the 31st lap in the books, and over 16 seconds ahead of 2nd place. Fantastic job, Justin Wilson out front here in Portland.
Big night tomorrow. I don't know, I feel like it. Bloated, you know, and constipated.
Try this. New Senecot Dual Relief contains the only formulation that traditionally relieves both constipation and bloating. Try new Senecot Dual Relief tablets, a natural choice for constipation and bloating.
Got heartburn, indigestion? Now there's new Gaviscon Double Action, our best ever formulation to soothe the burning pain of heartburn and neutralise excess acid. For relief you can really feel. New Gaviscon Double Action, what a feeling.
Everyone knows a bloke like Mickey. With Mickey, hair isn't just hair, no. It's a weapon to be used to devastating effect. And he's got a look for every occasion. There's a fluffy puppy, windswept and interesting, the intellectual, plain gorgeous, and his personal favourite, morning hair. Mickey's a bloke who knows, and Blokes Who Know voted Head & Shoulders #1 in FHM's Readers' Poll.
If you haven't discovered the miracle of Fusion, it's time you did. Gillette Fusion. On the front, 5 blades. And on the back, Gillette's first ever precision trimmer. Perfect for under the nose, straightening sideburns, and around facial hair. Gillette's best shave in manual and battery power. Gillette Fusion.
Used to breed rabbits when I was young. My granddad used to breed New Zealand whites. I started building rabbit hutches, got myself an hammer out, few nails, bit of wood, and it's gone from there.
Delighted you could join us here in Portland International Raceway. Jeremy Shaw with James Hinchcliffe. Welcome to all our international partners, including Eurosport 2 and Fox Sports, wherever you are in the world. We're delighted to have you with us. There is the defending series champion Sebastian Bourdais, but so far this afternoon it's been all this man, Justin Wilson, the lanky Englishman, Badass Wilson. Actually on they put it on the side of the car this weekend, just before the qualifying session on Friday. There's a nickname that goes back to his Formula Palmer Audi days at the Bedford Autodrome. Justin Wilson, as everybody knows, one of the nicest guys on the planet, and they nicknamed him Badass, which is just a very sarcastic reference to his joyful nature. And the CDW boss here this weekend said, hey, let's put Badass Wilson on the side of the car. They did it between the practice and qualifying sessions on Friday, and old Justin stepped up to the plate and they put it on the pole position, and it's been all about Justin for this for the balance of the weekend so far. He's doing some very quick laps right now, lapping very consistently in about the low 60-second range. Interesting, he's running about the same sort of lap times on the black sidewall Bridgestone Potenza tyres as he was on the red sidewall, slightly softer tyres in the early stages of this race. Of course, there was rain yesterday, all the rubber was washed away, and now we're getting rubber laid down again. The track will get faster.
Absolutely, and especially for the guys in the red sidewall tires for this stint, I think you'll see a little bit more of an improvement from their lap times as that rubber goes down. But it's actually Sebastian Bourdais who's the fastest car on track at present, and he's actually taken the fastest lap of the race at a 59.891, the first guy to break the 60-second barrier there. So Sebastian absolutely on it, but he's some 15, almost 16 seconds behind Justin Wilson. He's got a lot of work to do, unless of course the safety car comes out.
Well, yes, absolutely right. That would certainly play into his hands, but he was not happy with the car on Friday with Sebastian Bourdais. He's clearly very happy with it right now. There is the Ozjet car of the Minardi Team USA. That is Robert Dornbos. He's fallen to 4th place now. Will Power, as we saw during that first round of pit stops, was able to get past the Minardi Team USA car, push Robert Dornbos down to what is now 4th place. And behind him, Tristan Gomandy, there he is, doing an excellent job there for the PKV Racing team. And Tristan Gomandy, the Paper Touch Mega Spiera car, has just done a fabulous job this weekend as the Frenchman. He struggled physically with these cars at the early stages of the season, but he's working very, very hard now to make sure that he is up to the performance of these cars.
And this is going to be a good test for Tristan, because the track here at Portland, as I've been saying, these long, fast corners, not only do they, because they're quick, they put a lot of force on the body, and because they're long, they do it obviously for a longer duration. So this is a fairly physical track. Your arms and neck especially get very, very tired by the end of a full distance here at Portland. So it'll be interesting reference for Tristan when he gets out of the car, how he's feeling, because Edmonton is coming up in the not too distant future, and that is a very physical track that easily takes the hardest track that the Champ Car World Series races on. So everyone's going to have to be a little bit beefed up for that race.
Yes, they are indeed. And the good news also for Tristan this weekend is it's not nearly as warm as it might be. Temperature's been in the 50s and 60s most of the weekend. A little bit warmer today than it was certainly yesterday and even on Friday. It's up to about the mid-60s now, we believe, mid-65 or so degrees Fahrenheit. But so not nearly physically draining, as physically draining as it would be if it was up to the 80s or 90s, which it has been here in the past. But still, Tristan, there he is. He's running very comfortably, it would appear, in 5th place. Set the order, you can see it across the top of the screen. And he's a long way back of the leaders, 26 seconds behind Justin Wilson. And there's another, as we watch the lap times, I'm watching on the scoring screen here, another sub 60-second lap for Sebastian Bourdais. Justin Wilson, meanwhile, a 60.4, so about a half a second taken off that lead by the second place car of Sebastian Bourdais. The gap from first to second, 15.1 second, and they flash across the line one more time. That's 36 laps completed.
Good job, go!
Good job, go. Yes, indeed.
That's relatively easy instructions. Even a driver could follow those. No,
good encouragement. I think that's best. You've got to take that as an encouraging sign, from your team.
Absolutely. You could hear the excitement.
At least they don't say, push.
Yeah.
As if he's
exactly. You're not going fast enough. Pick up the pace. I think they're all pretty impressed and very happy with the kind of pace that Tristan's showing all weekend, and especially right now in the race, running in 5th place, which is where he qualified. Like I said, just a fantastic result so far from him. He's ahead of Alex Tagliani right now, who we definitely saw was very quick in the early stages of this race, and just behind Robert Dornbos, about 2 seconds back. So very, very competitive outing.
Yeah, Tagliani clearly lost a couple of positions in that first round of pits. Up there is the second of the Minardi Team USA cars, and on board here with Graham Rahal. Graham Rahal still in 8th place, so surprisingly he didn't get any gains out of his first pit stop. I fancy, however, he probably lost a few seconds by going through that chicane when he tried to carry too much speed as he came out of the pit lane on his outlap. So that probably cost him quite a lot. I think otherwise he might have made up 2 or 3 positions on that by making that pit stop 1 lap later than the other guys.
Potentially. I mean, I'm not sure how much that cost him, because I think he and Sebastian were the 2 last cars to pit.
Yeah, but he wasn't far behind Sebastian Bourdais as he came out of the pit lane.
That is
and
true.
He's now, 15 seconds behind him. I reckon it cost him 6 or 7 seconds by going through there, because you have to slow it right down, and that's exactly what he did. We could see that on the screen.
That is true, but he certainly does have the pace. It's unfortunate. He actually has the second quickest lap of the race. The only other man, other than Sebastian Bourdais, to have broken the 60-second barrier at a 59.909. So he's certainly got the pace. He just is unable to get by traffic, just because, as I've been saying all along, it's very tough to follow cars here in Portland. So he's gonna have to be patient, and maybe if he can save a bit of fuel in this one, try the same strategy for the next round of pit stops. Maybe stay out a bit later, get some good laps in clean air, and maybe move up a few positions.
So they're on board with Graham Rahal. He's had a lot of success here in the past in his young career, and of course his dad won the Champ Car race here 20 years ago in 1987 for the Budweiser True Sports team. Graham Rahal, he won his first national go-kart race in the Portland area 3 or 4 years ago. He won his first Formula BMW race here.
Star Mazda.
Both.
No. It was his first open-wheel car race was here in the Star Open Car win. Down to Michelle Beisner actually in the pits. We'll get back to Graham Rahal in a little bit.
Dan, Justin has been the man to beat this weekend. Tell me why that is.
Well, he's got a good car. Car's been running well all weekend, and I think he's very comfortable with his track. He's always done well here, and right now he's got pretty clean air, so he's running very smooth. And as long as the car is running well, I think we'll probably finish up pretty well.
So we are on board again with Justin Wilson, and again still lapping very, very consistently in the mid 60-second range. The gap to Sebastian Bourdais continues to go faster and faster. 59.839 last lap for Sebastian Bourdais. The gap from first to second now a little bit under 14 seconds with 39 laps in the books. We've got 40 minutes down in the race and 1 hour and 4 minutes or so to go. It'll be 1 hour and 45-minute race. So still a long way to go here in Portland for the Champ Car World Series. There's a look at the gaps farther down the field. So Paul Tracy, we should say, after making that out-of-sequence pit stop that really paid off for him. We're watching here Simon Pagenaud in second of the Walker Racing Team Australia cars, running in 10th place. And as you can see, ahead of him on the racetrack is Paul Tracy. So that was a very good call by that team to bring him in early, turn some quick laps on a clear racetrack with only the race leader to worry about. And he's come out now inside the top 10. That's a lot better than he was running beforehand.
Yeah, it certainly got him inside the top 10, and that's going to be an important haul of points for Paul. Now, hopefully he can move up a few more places, but we've actually just learned, as we were talking about Graham Rahal a bit earlier, how he's lost all this time to Sebastian. He went off. He came out in front of Will Power, and as Will went by him, he had a bit of an off-track excursion, and so that is also added on to the fact that he missed a chicane, what cost him a bunch of time. So not the best start to the second stint here for Graham Rahal, but as we said, he certainly has the pace as he's tracking down Dan Clark in the Minardi Team USA car, fighting for 7th place.
Yeah, good onboard footage here coming down the back part of the course to reach about 170 miles an hour down here and through this very quick chicane.
It's just, honestly, TV does not do it justice. It is so quick through there. You're traveling at well over 100 and I'd say 70 miles an hour going into it. I think they're down to maybe 5th gear through there, probably 140 miles an hour, I'd say. And when you're going that fast, if you miss your turning point by 1/10 of a second on track and distance, you've missed it by 100 feet at that speed. So you just got to be so precise, and it's a quick left-right combination, and then you're hard on the brakes for that last corner, balancing the car the whole time. Very tricky section of racetrack, and definitely separates the men from the boys through there.
Join Motors TV this Saturday, June the 16th, for all the best coverage of the world's most important motor race, the 24 Hours from Le Mans. We start with the warm-up at 8 a.m. That's followed by the centenary race at 9 a.m. The replay of the warm-up at 10:30, followed by the Prix race at 11:30. And finally, in this centenary edition, the 75th 24-hour Le Mans gets underway for real at 2 p.m.
The Le Mans 24 Hours, brought to you by Michelin.
Share all the excitement of 24 Hours of Le Mans with the lubricants Total Quartz.
The 24 Hours of Le Mans, in association with Evo magazine, the thrill of driving.
Dental experts tell us that acid erosion is caused by acid in our modern diets. Citrus fruits, fruit juices, diet soft drinks. Your teeth may look really healthy, but only your dentist will be able to tell you if there's thinning of the tooth enamel. There are things that you can do, so it's really important that you go and see your dentist. There is a new toothpaste on the market. Sensodyne Pro Enamel has been specifically formulated to help protect against the effects of acid erosion. You use just like a normal toothpaste twice a day.
Want to be the first to read about new cars? You can't afford to miss a weekly fix of Autocar magazine. With Autocar, you're the first with essential news, test drives, car gossip, and the world-famous Autocar road test every week. And every word is written by car enthusiasts for car enthusiasts. Autocar, first for new cars. Don't miss getting your copy. It's out every Wednesday for just £2.30.
Quit smoking, and this is what you're up against. Smoking increases the number of receptors in your brain that thrive on nicotine. Take their supply away, they go mad. They won't let you break the habit without a fight. Nicotine reduces cravings because it contains therapeutic nicotine, so you can wean the beasts off gradually and give your willpower a fighting chance to do the rest. The beast quit with nicotine.
If you run the lights at a level crossing, it's not just your life on the line. Level crossings don't run the risk.
There will be plenty of high-flying and two-wheel lunacy in the next edition of M80. In addition to the token hottie that will host this explosive program, we will meet up with one of the stars of this ever-so-Generation X sport, Tommy Clowers. M80, Wednesday, June 13th from 8:10.
And now he'll be right-handed again here onto the second fastest part of the course. And again now that lap by Sebastian Bourdais, 59.628. He pulled out over a second and a half, as you said that time around, James. The gap is coming down inexorably. Just 7.8 seconds now between that man, the CDW R Sport car of Justin Wilson, and the hotly pursuing, or fast on his heels, Sebastian Bourdais. Paul Tracy pulls out of 9th place for his second stop of the day. Forsyth team will go to it. This will be a full tank of fuel this time. Last time, of course, he needed only about a half a tank of fuel. He came in after just 18 laps, and it's now on lap 44, so he's managed 26 laps since his last pit stop. 27 actually, lap 45 it was as he rejoins the race, and now he'll have to see whether he can rejoin ahead of the race leaders.
It's an understeer. It is an understeer, yeah. Jeremy. He does not have as much front grip in that car as he wants. So that means an understeer is when you turn the wheel, the nose of the car does not point as well as you'd like. You end up having to give it more steering lock. That creates more friction between the tire and the track, wears the tires out, and essentially makes the problem even worse. So Justin's struggling. He definitely wants reds next time out. Still in the lead by 7 seconds over Sebastian Bourdais.
This is a fascinating stage of the motor race. Here is Sebastian Bourdais. He's got his gander up. He knows he's closing very, very quickly on Justin Wilson, the race leader. He had a very frustrating start to the race, did Sebastian Bourdais. He was running initially in the top 3. Then he was passed by Will Power, and then, no, he was passed at the start by Will Power and then by Alex Tagliani, but he managed to eke out that first load of fuel 1 lap longer than anybody else, or any of the other drivers he was contesting with at that stage. He's leapfrogged them and joined that round of pit stops, and now the car is clearly handling very, very well indeed. The front 2 guys are on the harder black sidewall Bridgestone Potenza tyres, and at this stage there's no doubt that Bourdais' car is working a lot better than Justin Wilson's. But we got 2 more pit stops to come in this race. The first pit stop was on lap 27 or 8 for most of the drivers. I think Justin Wilson came in on lap 27. Sebastian managed to do 29. So we'll be expecting their second pit stop of the day in about another 7 or 8 laps probably.
Yeah, and he's now caught the lap car of Alex Figge. This is definitely going to hold him up a little bit, but he'll be able to get by him down this front straight into the festival curves. But you can see how close he was into that corner. Lost a bit on the exit just because, you can see him. He's throwing his hands in the air. He knows this is a very crucial time of the race. There wasn't much Alex could do, to be honest, at that part of the racetrack where Sebastian caught him. Just kind of unfortunate timing. Maybe a little bit of an overreaction there from Sebastian, but it's not necessarily totally unexpected. Justin Wilson has radioed to his crew saying he wants red tires back on his car for the next one. Much happier with the balance on the reds. Sebastian Bourdais has radioed saying he's got a bit of an oversteer. So they have opposite problems right now, but obviously Sebastian's slightly less costly in terms of lap time.
I think it was Ryan Dejelli who's getting his way past. They got a little bit frustrated with Ryan. Ryan's doing now in 15th place, showing 1 lap down along with Paul Tracy and Alex Figge. And he talked about the balance of the cars on the red sidewall tyres and the black sidewall tyres. And different teams have, when they bolt on the different tyres, they have different ways the cars react to them. Most of the teams that I've talked to, when they put on the softer tyres, the car goes for a little bit more of an oversteer. The rear end of the car wants to step out a little bit, and you want to make sure you don't chew up those rear tyres on these cars. So it's a very interesting challenge for the engineers. How do they set that car up?
It's very, very difficult, and that's why the good engineers in the Champ Car World Series are very high in demand and make very decent salaries. But I just want to touch on the fact that despite the fact Sebastian was outraged at how much he was held by, he still gained on Justin Wilson that lap.
It seems that way. Craig Hampson playing it perfectly. It seems like Sebastian's really closing in. Did you guys short film on the last stop?
Yeah, absolutely. We were kind of bottled up there in traffic, and then Tagliani got us, and we had to do something different. So the car was quick. We got it out front, and now we just see how it plays out. But we're going to be pitting in a lap here, so Justin will always be able to go farther than us on fuel.
Is he happy with how the car's performing right now?
Yeah, we're just going to add half a turn of front wing here.
Thank you, Craig.
Thank you, Cameron Steele. There down in the Newman House Lanigan Racing pit with the race engineer for Sebastian Bourdais. That would be Craig Hampson, and Craig telling us that Sebastian will be coming in next time around, so cleaning earlier than normal pit stop for Sebastian Bourdais. So again, just to make sure in that first round of pit stops, the Newman House Lanigan Racing team allowed their driver to go 1 more lap than everybody else, and 2 laps more than several, including the race leader, before coming onto pit lane. That is an advantage, and clearly they didn't put a full tank of methanol fuel in at that first stop either. So again, save a little bit more time and make sure that Justin Wilson was able to get up there into second place and turn some quick laps. And now, when he comes in a little bit before some of the other guys, that advantage will work in his favour, because he's been able to turn a string of very quick laps here, and I'm sure make up enough an advantage. So even though the other guys will gain some time on him by stopping later, it won't be enough to overcome the deficit that he has pulled out to them.
No, absolutely. That was a great call by Newman Haas Lanigan Racing. For both their cars, I think, got short filled to try and gain track position. Obviously, with Graham having a small off there, he wasn't quite able to capitalize the same way that Sebastian was, but they've played this strategy very well. The gap is just down to 4 seconds now, so it looks like Sebastian will be pitting this lap, I think, and Graham Rahal, we've seen now his crew setting up in pit lane as well.
And there's Ryan DeYell also onto pit lane for the Pacific Coast Motorsports team, which this weekend announced a new junior program. They have teaming up with the US Racetronics organization that runs 2 cars in the Atlantic Series, so good for the PCO team. Here is Graham Rahal, and we believe Cameron Steele is down in the pit lane, so the second scheduled stop of the day
once you get stopped, your
for Graham Rahal.
4 wheels under the line when you exit the pit. Do not shortcut the chicane.
It's race engineer Todd Molloy there on the radio to Graham Rahal. Bit of trouble there getting that wheel nut.
And you can hear
hold it.
on the radio. They're giving him a full fill. And Sebastian Bourdais will be coming in next.
Cleared track. Good out lap.
There you have more from John Tzanikis. He is one of the team members that has been with Newman Haas Lanigan the entire time when the talk about a wing adjustment. There you have it right there. Put some wing in. There you go. Full fill. 2 successful pits for that team.
But he's going to come out here behind Tristan Gomondi and Alex Tagliani, and you know Alex Tagliani isn't going to let him go past terribly easy, so this could be crucial. Now here is Justin Wilson. He's going to do at least another lap or 2 before he's coming in. We're expecting Justin Wilson in. Is he going to come in this time around? No, he is not.
No. But no, that was crucial that Sebastian Bourdais did come out behind 2 cars that are going to be slower than him.
Pit this lap.
There you go, Justin Wilson giving the order to pit this lap. He will be coming in, and this will be important. Sebastian Bourdais will not be able to get as quick an outlap as he wanted, being stuck up behind Alex Tagliani and Tristan Gomondi. But unlike the case with Ryan Dial, who he caught, these guys are for position. They've got no need to let him by. And like you said, you can be darn sure that Alex is not going to make it easy at all.
No favours, I believe, there for Alex Tagliani. But there is Justin Wilson. CDW car is led virtually all the way this afternoon. And Bill Stevens is in the pit stall for the R Sport organisation. The CDW car there is beautiful. Red and white car. Justin Wilson's been foot perfect this afternoon. Hasn't been as quick as Sebastian Bourdais. There is a second of the R Sports cars. That is Alex Tagliani onto pit lane. Amazing that through that second stint then, Bourdais was able to put the length of a whole pit stop effectively between himself and Bourdais, because prior to that first round of pit stops, Tagliani been ahead of Bourdais, but here now is Justin Wilson onto pit lane.
Bruno's in his pit, just be aware of that.
50 miles an hour. It's Phil Howard on the radio.
Race leader Justin Wilson into the pits. They are putting the red Bridgestones back onto the automobile. These fuel cells, 32 gallons, 3 less than what they're normally used to. They were expecting these fuel fills to take a little bit shorter time, but he still has a good pit stop.
He does have a very good pit stop there. Thank you, Bill Stevens. And there goes Justin Wilson.
I've never heard of a champ car being referred to as an automobile before. That sounds terribly tame. As Justin comes out behind, it looks like Neil Johnny's come out behind there, the Red Bull PKV car, and it's going to be important. I guess Neil still has a stop to make. It's going to be important that he doesn't get held up too much. This is a crucial part of the race, but now Justin back on the tires that he wants. He's got to get up to speed quickly and got to start laying those laps down.
Yeah, I didn't see where he came out in relation to Sebastian Bourdais, so we'll have to wait to get a visual on that next time around. But here is just, of course, cold tyres. No tyre warmers in the Champ Car World Series, but he is on the softer of the 2 Bridgestone Potenza tyres, the red sidewall tyres. And now he's got to get his head down, make sure he doesn't make any mistakes. It's very easy to do. 750 horsepower and cold tyres. These cars are a challenge to drive.
I think we're on board with Justin now as we head through turn 10, 11. And I believe that Sebastian Bourdais is right behind him. There it is. There is the gap down to less than a second. Everything is getting interesting here at the Portland International Raceway.
Look at this, Sebastian Bourdais looks to the inside under braking for the festival curves, and he takes away the lead. Well, obviously not the lead of the race. Can Justin now? Bit of a mistake there from Sebastian Bourdais, but he holds off Justin Wilson. And boy, that could well be the critical part of this race. Will Power is not actually yet for the lead of the race because Will Power and Robert Dornbos have yet to make their second pit stops of the afternoon, but that I believe is likely to be the turning point in this race. And that whole first stint of the race, Justin Wilson pulled out over 18 seconds over the rest of the field, but that and more now has been overturned by the man, Sebastian Bourdais.
Justin clearly just did not get quite a quick enough out lap as we see Oriol Servia completing his second scheduled pit stop and was just able to capitalize on slightly colder tires from Justin Wilson. That one lap later pit stop that he did, Sebastian having one lap more heat in his tires as we see Robert Dornbos coming in for his pit stop now and just able to get by. Crucial point, but with the red tires back on his car, will Justin be able to maintain a close gap between him and Sebastian and maybe attack later in this stint?
Yeah, exactly right. So it's a long way to go here in Portland. We've got 58 minutes down, 47 minutes to go in this race. There is our new race leader, Will Power. Will Power won the opening race of the season in Las Vegas. He's been a contender in every race so far this season. And it's been absolutely about a revelation because he was just improving by leaps and bounds all the way through last year was Will Power. But this year has been absolutely superb. This was the first time he failed to qualify on the front row of the grid. But he's had a good race so far and now he's looking to make some ground again. There is Catherine Legg making her second pit stop of the day. She was shown inside the top 10 at this stage. She'd been running reasonably competitive at lap times with everybody else. Will Power is on pit lane. Cameron Steele is down
I'm here in Will Power's pit. Everything seems to be good with the car. I just spoke with Derek Walker, who was talking to Dan Faustino, the engineer. They're holding it. Look at that. Will wants to go. You hear Derek Walker telling him to hold on the radio. Will Power very antsy to get back out. They talked about a short fill, but it looked like they went ahead and filled the car up.
I don't think that was Will's fault. It sounded like he was just getting on the throttle to make sure that he was on the limiter and ready to go, but the clutch was grabbing just a little bit. The way that car was creeping, it was creeping at too steady a pace with how sensitive these clutches are for him to have been lifting his foot there. So I think his clutch stop maybe not just set far enough. A little bit of a problem there as we see Sebastian Bourdais trying to clear Catherine Legg of the lapped car.
She tucks in behind him now. I thought for a minute she was going to race him down towards the chicane. Let's have a replay again of that pass by Sebastian Bourdais. Justin Wilson, of course, he's only just come out of the pit, so his tyres are still cold. Sebastian Bourdais has done 3 or 4 laps to get his tyres up to optimum temperature. Here's a look back from the CDW car. And they're down to the inside goes Sebastian Bourdais. And absolutely nothing that Justin Wilson could do about it, James.
He did make him go hard, though, because Sebastian had to go very late on the brakes, and you saw he actually slid wide, clipped that second apex curb there on the left-hand part of that corner, which is not ideally what you want to do. So Justin made him work for it, but at that point, there really was nothing he could do. He just had to sit back and watch.
So now we're into the meat of the race, if you like, and Sebastian Bourdais, he's made up that massive deficit, and here he is now out in the lead. He's got some lap cars, or about to be lap cars ahead of him. I think next ahead of him again is Neil Jani, who is in 14th place now in the Red Bull PKV car. Boy, Neil Jani has been disappointing this season. It was thought primarily that he seemed to be struggling in qualifying, but he's not had a particularly good race today either. Just hasn't shown the pace that was expected of him, and he's down in 14th place. And his teammate Tristan Gomedy up inside the top 5, where he's been all weekend.
Yeah, he really just has genuinely had the pace all weekend long. This is not trick race strategy or anything of the sort, as Sebastian Bourdais gets very close. But Neil Jani courteously pulls over and lets the race leader go by. But yeah, Tristan Gomedy absolutely on fire for PKV Racing, where as his teammate, who we are on board with now, just really has struggled with this Portland circuit.
He's turning into the corners a lot sooner, isn't he, than Sebastian Bourdais. Bourdais taking a much wider line into the corners.
there's a few different lines around the Portland track with these really long duration corners. Sometimes an earlier turn-in can definitely help you because the corner's banked. And traditionally, when you have a banked corner, you're able to roll speed in, turn in a little bit earlier, and still manage to carry good minimum speed in the corner. Sebastian Bourdais, obviously, a bit of a different driving style and a bit of a different setup on his car, no doubt, to suit that better. And obviously, at this point of the race, it seems like his might be a little bit quicker. So Sebastian Bourdais now leading Justin Wilson by a pretty significant margin, considering he only got by a few laps ago. The gap is now up to 2.7 seconds. They're running lap times about 3 or 4 tenths apart in Sebastian's favor at this point, but now Justin's going to have to clear Neil Johnny as well.
If you're a motorsport fan, your dreams are about to become reality. The one and only high-speed television channel is launching its own club. Join Motors TV Club and you'll have the opportunity to attend some great sporting events, as well as to benefit from a selection of impressive offers, invitations and prize draws. You will of course also receive all the latest news and information. Join now, the club for real motorsport fans. For further information and offers, visit www.motorstv.co.uk.
Big night tomorrow. I don't know, I feel like it. Sort of bloated, you know, and constipated.
Try this. New Senecot Dual Relief contains the only formulation that traditionally relieves both constipation and bloating. Try new Senecot Dual Relief tablets, a natural choice for constipation and bloating.
Got heartburn, indigestion? Now there's new Gaviscon Double Action, our best ever formulation to soothe the burning pain of heartburn and neutralise excess acid. For relief you can really feel. New Gaviscon Double Action, what a feeling.
Hi, I'm Barry Scott. Remember how powerful Silid Bang was on the penny test? Now let's see why Grime and Lime is perfect for everyday cleaning.
I just rub the soap, but with back is so easy.
I found I can even remove these ugly rust marks.
Soap Scum, Lime Scale, Grime and Rust. Bang and the dirt is gone.
Somewhere beyond the sea, somewhere waiting for me, my lover stands on golden sand and watches the ships.
Citron 3, designed for happiness. Just imagine what Citron can do for you.
So here's a look at the pole sitter since 1992 here in Portland. It's interesting reading. Look at this. It's been a different pole sitter every year for 15 years, and some of the great names of world motorsport, not just the Champ Car World Series, and all the way down here to 2005, 2006. Bruno Junqueira took the pole here last year. This time, finally, after all that time, Justin Wilson becomes the first man to become a two-time pole sitter at Portland International Raceway in 15 years. Remarkable effort. But that was yesterday that Justin Wilson secured his pole position when the track was wet, and this is now on board the CDW car of the Englishman. He's running now, however, in second place, and he's having to watch as Sebastian Bourdais extends that lead little by little. That time around, another half a second that Bourdais builds onto his lead over Justin Wilson. It's now over 3 seconds, as we see there. Is that Neil Johnny again pulling over to let Justin Wilson past? And Justin Wilson now has at least clear track, I believe. Or is that it might be Oral Servia, the next car ahead of him, but you can see the deficit now to Sebastian Bourdais is 3 seconds plus, and if you even talked about that just 25 laps or so ago, you just say, what? No mistakes from Justin Wilson, just hasn't had the speed, particularly in that second stint of the race. We'll have to see now. His tyre should be getting up to temperature now, but he's still only lapping in the 60.5 at last time around. He's on the softer tyres, and Sebastian Bourdais, I think, is still on the black sidewall tyres in this third stint of the race, and he turned a 60.035. Simon Pagenaud is the quickest man on the field at the moment.
We're seeing a replay here of Graham Rahal, who's trying to get by Dan Clark.
Whoa.
that is at 165, 170 miles an hour. He's just put two wheels on the grass and brought it back. That would have been a scary, scary moment for Graham Rahal, and very, very poor, uncourteous, unsportsmanlike driving from Dan Clark. I have to say, blocking is not allowed in the Champ Car World Series, and although that straightaway does have a bit of a curve to it, that was just, I think that was a little bit off, to be honest.
You generally be in the sort of the middle of the racetrack there, but there's room to go around the outside of somebody as well, isn't there?
Yeah, if you're on the 100% traditional race line that you run every lap, there was definitely at least one car width to the outside there. So based solely on the fact that Graham was put off into the dirt, Dan obviously made a mistake coming out of turn 7, and Graham got a good run on him. So that'll I imagine be under review by Champ Car. Tony Cotman, of course, the race director up in race control, will be looking at that closely, reviewing that, see if a penalty is to be issued. But Sebastian Bourdais still out in front now, back into the 59s. Justin Wilson's last lap was a 160.1. So again, about a 4/10 of a second a lap deficit Justin has, and the gap is now up to 4.3 seconds. This for me, Jeremy, has kind of been a typical Sebastian Bourdais display. He didn't have the quickest car in qualifying. He fell back early stages in the race, but between great pit calls and just heads-up driving from him, he's put himself back in the lead of this motor race, and comfortably.
Yeah, the key was to keep calm, and at one stage we wondered whether he was keeping his cool. He was held up, he got a bit frustrated trying to get past a lapped car, but he's kept it all together. He's turned an incredibly fast pace, and once the strategy plus good driving got him out into that clear second place, he was able to take advantage of that, and then gradually get closer and closer and closer to Justin Wilson, and finally make that pass for the lead. And now Sebastian Bourdais is pulling away. So here we are. Welcome back to Portland International Raceway if you've just joined us, and it's 64 laps in the books. We're expecting to go about 103 or 4 or 5 laps. It's a 1 hour 45 minute race, and it's been certainly a very exciting afternoon. Nice to be joined in the booth here by Slovenian Olympian Andrej Jurman, who's a guest of the Pacific Post Motorsports team. We'll get back to him in just a moment here at Portland. It's a warm welcome to Slovenian Olympian Andrej Jurman, who's this year's World Cup men's downhill champion. Andrej, great of you to join us. I know you were at Monte Carlo a couple of weeks ago watching a Formula 1 race. This is your first time at a Champ Car race. What do you think?
Well, there is some sort of difference, It's I gotta say that Formula 1 is much more glamorous than Champ race, and I think it's also that much more money is involved in Formula 1 than in Champ Car.
Yes, about 20 times as much money probably. But it's an exciting form of competition. What brings you here to the Pacific Northwest?
I came here for training at Mount Hood, so now my head coach was inviting me to join the race team, and it's a nice experience for me also.
Yeah, you've been hanging out with the Pacific Coast Motorsports team. They're the only West Coast team based in the Champ Car World Series this year, and there's a lot of friendly characters down there. You've been having a good time though, have you?
I'm having a good time, yeah. I can see how downhill racing and car racing are pretty much similar. It's everybody's living on a limit, and that's really nice to compare those two sports.
We've seen a lot of skiing world champions make a move into car racing at some stage. The Mayer brothers, Steve and Phil Mayer, they're still dabbling in motor racing over here. They do the Showroom Stock Series at the moment, and Franz Klammer, of course, he made a bit of a splash in the DTM Series in Europe. Any plans for you to move into motor racing?
I don't think so. I'll stick for a few more years in ski racing, and I probably. I mean, it's too much. It's too much. I mean, you have a good sponsors to get in, and it's really tough to get into motorsports.
Yeah, certainly is. Andrej, thanks so much for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your stay.
Yeah, thank you, you too.
So there is back on a look at the McDonald's car, Newman Haas Lanigan Racing. Sebastian Bourdais is extending the lead, but not by certainly as much as he was before. The gap between first and second, 4.5 seconds, James. It seems to have stabilized now.
Yeah, their lap times now are pretty similar. Actually, all of the top 5 seem to be within about 2 or 3 tenths of one another. Sebastian Bourdais actually just did a pretty quick lap, and as Justin Wilson comes by, yeah, the gap up now to just about 5 seconds even, so maybe Sebastian a bit of a mistake on that lap, but we're back on board with Graham Rahal now as he starts heading out of turn 7 up the back straight, and it does not appear as though Champ Car made any kind of ruling on that incident between him and Dan Clark, which kind of surprises me a little bit. He's still chasing that car down right now, obviously not as close as he was. Dan must have made a mistake for him to get that run that he did into turn 10, but he's still trucking away, and he's got the pace as we actually are taking a look at Tony Cotman right now.
Obviously a little more.
That was Tony Cotman up in race control there. Maybe as we're on board with Graham, maybe there is some sort of ruling coming in this incident, but he's certainly got more pace than Dan Clark, and he must be frustrated just sitting behind him, especially after what Dan's done to him.
Yes, indeed, and there's certainly, I think, a question mark went up from Newman Haas Lanigan Racing to race control. We're trying to find a word on what the edict.
Great job, and I think it just adds such a great spectacle for the fans and mixed everybody up going into turn 1. So one down anyway.
As our race director Tony Cotman talking about the standing start that we saw earlier on today, and certainly that was, I think, a great feature that's added a lot of interest to the series. A lot of, they wanted to introduce it at the beginning of the season, and they quickly realised with this brand new car, there's quite a few mechanical aspects of the car they needed to address. The tilt and carbon clutches on these cars, they've been beefed up a little bit over the last few weeks while they develop, through the developmental phase. And I have to say, it was not only spectacular but exciting as well.
He's perhaps just defending his line. He didn't move his line too far. He knows he's not going to do it again, so he's doing fine. He's racing and he wants to keep that position and go forward.
Right, difference of opinion is what makes a horse race.
Whoa, there's Graham Rahal, oversteps the mark there, off the road. He's going to lose a lot of time here, James. That grass is still wet.
It's still very wet, but he's managed to keep it off the wall. He's trying hard. You cannot get the power down at all on the grass, so back now on track. He's going to have very dirty, slightly wet tires now. He's going to have to be very careful these next few corners, just kind of tiptoe, get himself back up to speed there, but looks like he just overcooked it into turn 4 there. Very easy to do.
And just before Rahal went off the road, the interview we had there was Bill Stevens with Will Phillips, who's a race engineer for Dan Clark.
Are your tires okay, Graham?
Yes, there's the team asking whether Graham's tires are okay. That's
you could see Graham on his radio there responding just before he entered turn 10 there, and I think the tires would be all right. He did not spin. There's no chance to flat spot the tires there, so apart from being maybe a little bit moist and having a little bit of grass on them, they'll be back up to speed in no time.
I think he actually just lost the one position to Simon Pagenaud, but that's the good news. The bad news is he lost about 10 seconds by sliding off the road. So there's Tristan Gormandy, though, just doing an excellent job for the PKV racing team. Jimmy Vasser, of course, one of the team owners there, along with Kevin Kalkoven. And Tristan Gormandy, he's been, I have to say, a revelation this weekend. He's led, of course, the last couple of races, but that was really just on strategic calls to get Gormandy out in front and getting used to running out in front. Of course, they ran him out of fuel at Houston, which wasn't the smartest move. Go down to Michelle Beisner with Jimmy Vasser.
Well, I'm here with team owner Jimmy Vasser. Jimmy, Tristan's been running well all day, but what's it going to take for him to catch the leader?
No, we're running a race kind of with Tagliani now, and we're trying to catch up with Dornbos, but we just don't have the pace. But Tristan's been running a good race, and it's it's pretty straightforward with no yellows like it is, and we're just trying to set pace and maintain 5th place as best we can do, I think, unless there's a yellow and kind of bunches up.
How much did the rain go into your strategy planning yesterday?
Well, it makes it hard to move the setup forward, but we were on pole position in the rain, and then he spun off and we lost our fast lap, so it might have been better if we could have started up front, but Tristan's done a great job.
Thanks a lot, Jimmy.
Yes, certainly is. Thank you, Michelle. And certainly Tristan is doing a great job. He's 27 years of age, a little bit older than most of the other guys here, from Paris, France. And he's a lot of experience under his belt. His biggest success was winning the 2002 French Formula 3 Championship, at the 3rd attempt of Formula 3, but he also won the Macau Grand Prix that year, and there's some great names that have won that Macau Grand Prix in the past, and you have to have a lot of talent to win there on the very unforgiving streets.
Our journey through Australia continues, and we're still traveling by train. This time we're heading north, and unlike Europe, that doesn't mean it gets colder. Quite the opposite, in fact. Join us for a journey into the arid plains Wednesday, June 13th from 11:10.
With Tuxedo's Blue Diamond card, everyone is welcome. Activate instantly, top up and use in millions of locations worldwide. Go shopping, use online and withdraw cash from ATMs. Give a card to family and friends here or overseas, even use to receive your wages. Everything is provided when you get your pay-as-you-go pack, including your prepaid Maestro card. Call free 0800 915 2000 to get yours now. That's 0800 915 2000 or go online.
Want to be the first to read about new cars? You can't afford to miss a weekly fix of Autocar magazine. With Autocar, you're the first with essential news, test drives, car gossip and the world-famous Autocar road test every week. And every word is written by car enthusiasts for car enthusiasts. Autocar, first for new cars. Don't miss getting your copy. It's out every Wednesday for just £2.30.
I'm one of these people that I'm very fortunate that what I do for a living, I enjoy. Everybody's mother would say to you, it's good to have a trade son. And that's what I done.
Dental experts are telling us the enamel on your teeth gets worn away because your teeth are exposed to an acidic environment. Juices, carbonated drinks, even fresh fruit, you probably wouldn't notice. The dentist can see there's a thinning of the enamel. There's things we can do. Carry on eating a good range of foods. Go and have a conversation with your dentist. Sensodyne Pronamel helps re-harden the enamel, specifically designed to help protect your teeth from acid erosion.
Formula Palmer Audi is back on Motors TV. Join the high-speed television network when we head to Silverstone for the season opening weekend for the Palmer Audi Championship. This is Race 2, Thursday, June 14th from 8:10. Be sure to be with Motors TV when we bring you live flag-to-flag coverage of Day 1 qualifying for the 75th edition of the Le Mans 24 Hours. Peugeot and Audi will battle for overall pole in P1, while in GT1 it will be Corvette versus Aston Martin and the upstarts at Saleen. Don't miss a second of Day 1 qualifying, Wednesday, June 13th from 5:45 in the afternoon.
While we're talking about you, there is Sebastian Bourdais still well out in front and increasing his lead again. He's now pulling away by almost a second a lap over Justin Wilson. The gap now 11 seconds between first and second. But James, back to you this weekend. 2 pole positions and 2 second place finishes. Nice job.
It wasn't bad. Obviously, to grab both poles was good. It's actually the first time an Atlantic driver has had more than 1 pole here in Portland. So then it rained for the first race, and for us, our first laps of rain driving were under green flag conditions under racing. So we see Alex Tagliani there.
His final pit stop of the day. Yes, I think that would be lap 76 for Alex Tagliani. I think we'll be anticipating maybe 20 odd laps to go. 26 minutes to go in the race. So probably 25 more laps, I would think, maybe 26 if they really get their heads down. And there is Tagliani locking up those brand new tyres he goes down into the festival curves. Not the best initiation for a brand new set of tyres.
Absolutely not. We've seen that a lot this race. It's kind of surprising.
It is pretty cool out there, isn't it? We talked about it before. It's not easy to get those tyres up to temperature, particularly when you've only driven them for about 300 yards.
And another crucial point is the fact that because it rained all day yesterday, all the rubber's been washed off the track. The track's very green, especially offline. And when you pull out of the pit lane, you're not on the traditional racing line. You're off to the inside there. So there's certainly a little bit less grip than there has been the rest of the weekend. So So, but we're on board with Justin Wilson. He's playing around with something. Looks like that might be his radio button. Might be conversing with his crew as he heads through the chicane at the end of the back straight there. Now into the final corner, coming up on some lap traffic.
Yeah, he's been losing a second a lap the last 4 or 5 laps to Sebastian Bourdais, has Justin Wilson. And coming down, there's the blue flags being waved there to Jan Halen. Jan Halen driving for the Conquest Racing Team. Jan Halen's done a fantastic job this weekend. In 9th place he is. That's a remarkable effort. He's of course taken over from Matt Halliday, the very talented New Zealand driver who had absolutely no luck whatsoever in the first 3 races of the season. But Halen's doing a nice job. There's a pit stop there for Neil Jani. He was running in about 12th or 13th place as he comes onto pit lane. Not been the afternoon that he wanted. There's clouds there behind, you can see gathering over to the east of the track, but the prevailing weather conditions generally come from the west. And if I look that way out to the right hand side of our booth, it looks reasonably clear. There goes Johnny down into turn 1. And we look back down to the pit lane. Here comes our race leader. Both of the Newman Haas Lanigan cars onto pit lane at the same time. There's Graham Rahal expelling one of his tear-off strips. And here right behind him, the McDonald's car of Sebastian Bourdais.
Pulling on the light.
We'll see if they will hold Rahal. Not sure about the timing, bringing both in together, but they were looking, they hold Sebastian. They were looking to have at least an 8-second gap on Wilson before they came into the pits. They came into the pits with over 13 seconds, so mission accomplished for everybody here at Newman Haas Lanigan.
Yes, but this is going to be interesting now because Sebastian Bourdais is on cold tyres and these guys behind him are all on hot tyres. If they can get past, then Sebastian Bourdais might be held up. This is going to be pretty interesting. That is Ryan de Yal there, who's unable to get close enough to make a pass, and now Sebastian Bourdais is going to be slipping and sliding around here, and he's under intense pressure from cars that at this stage in the proceedings, having on the fresh tyres, are going to be going a good bit quicker.
That would absolutely annoy Sebastian to no end if maybe down this back straight, coming out of turn 7, Ryan Dial in the Pacific Coast Motorsports car is able to get a good run on him. I don't think that is likely. His best chance was there into 4, and he couldn't quite get it done. And frankly, that would be better. Just try and not interfere with the race. And Justin Wilson getting the call to pit this lap. He will be in. Now, we definitely saw that with a 13-second gap before the pit stop. They've done enough, despite the fact Justin's been able to run 2 laps longer, for Sebastian to retain the lead. So Sebastian Bourdais looks like he will come out comfortably in front after this pit stop.
And Bourdais has actually had a very good outlap as we're watching Bruno Junqueira there in 12th place at the moment. Whoa, yikes, he almost lost it coming out of the pit lane, did Bruno Junqueira. Just managed to hang on to that Sonny's barbecue car, and away he goes down the pit lane. Also making a pit stop there was it Jan Halen? I didn't actually quite see who that was, but boy, that was a sideways moment for Bruno.
It happens.
Yikes.
Here that's Oriol Servia just managing to get around Bruno, and this is Tristan Gomedy also able to get by him, so they will not be held up by a car on cold tires.
That is a battle for position between Servia and Junqueira, but not with Tristan Gomedy, who has yet to make his final pit stop of the day, and Gomedy is a lap ahead of those other 2. We're expecting Justin Wilson onto pit lane this time. We heard the call from his pit radio,
and he needs a good pit stop, Rick. And I just spoke to Phil Howard. He says tires, fuel, that's all. Nothing fancy, no changes, and away he goes.
There goes the final stop then for Justin Wilson, but Sebastian Bourdais is already long gone in the lead, and there's a whole bunch of lapped cars between them as well. I don't think it's really particularly relevant at this stage because Bourdais has got things well in hand. He had an excellent outlap as well. Not only was he able to pull clear of Ryan Dial, but all his other cars as well. Cameron Steele.
Everything the car is giving him. Got the wheels spinning while airborne and trying to get away quick. Seemingly the crew not exactly happy with that stop.
Oh, really? I don't know why they wouldn't be happy. Certainly it's a lot better than the last stop because he almost looked like the clutch was slipping, and it would appear in the second stop of the day for Will Power. Here's the second of the Team Australia cars. This is Simon Pagenaud pitting from 7th place.
But one thing the cameras didn't actually pick up right on that last lap before Will Power pitted, he was passed by Robert Dornbos for 3rd position. So I guess Robert still now has to come in for his stop, but he was able, just a few corners before Will peeled into the pits to get by. So both that in-lap for Will Power, the out-lap for Will Power, and now this series of laps for Robert Dornbos is going to be crucial on who's going to retain that 3rd position when everything settles down.
that is the battle of the race, certainly between those two for third and fourth places. Justin Wilson is pretty much secure in second place once the stops are completed. Sebastian Bourdais pretty much long gone. The gap has been reduced quite substantially. It's only 6.5 seconds now, but Justin is still trying to get his tyres up to temperature, so he'll lose a little bit more next time around. Robert Doornbos has just made his final pit stop. Unfortunately, we didn't see it. He's rejoined just ahead of Will Power. I watched the cars out of the corner of our booth here going down into the festival curves as we watched Sebastian Bourdais coming through the other end of the racetrack. And Doornbos did get out of the pits ahead of Will Power, but he's on cold tyres, and Will Power has got already a lap or two under his belt.
So hopefully we can maybe cut to them and see what has happened in that battle. If not, we'll get them when they come across the timing stripe. You can see in the distance there, this man's teammate Graham Rahal is running in 9th place, just 1 lap down. Sebastian now has a gap of 14.5 seconds over Justin Wilson. So Justin obviously still struggling to get some heat in those tires. He is slowly getting those lap times down, but it looks as though Doornbos maybe has retained that position over Will Power. They should be crossing the line soon now, so we can confirm that.
Yeah, they're coming down the start-finish straight right now, and there's about 3 or 4 car lengths in between them. Doornbos, as you said, is ahead, but only just as they come down to turn 1. And there is Sebastian Bourdais. He's got about a 15-second lead now, with just 18 minutes to go in the Champ Car Grand Prix of Portland. So inside the final 20 minutes of this race is all about Sebastian Bourdais. Now the first stages of the race all about Justin Wilson, but now, as per usual, it's the McDonald's car of Newman Haas Lanigan Racing, and looking for the team's 100th victory. An amazing record this team has had over the last quarter century of Champ Car racing. Started the partnership between Paul Newman and Carl Haas started in 1983. But Sebastian Bourdais has won 25 races for this team over the last 5 years of racing in the Champ Car World Series. Now looking to make it numbers 26 and also the team's 100th. Just remarkable statistics that Sebastian Bourdais has been chalking up over these years. And let's have a look maybe at the graphic of the winners for Newman Haas Lanigan Racing over the years. And you can see some of the most illustrious names in the sport. There's Michael Andretti. He's still won the most for this team, 31 victories. Sebastian Bourdais, they're closing quickly with 25. And what's even more remarkable is he's won those 25 races inside just 62 starts. Quite remarkable. Mario Andretti, he was the standard bearer initially for that team. 18 victories to his name. Cristiano D'Amata, he won the championship for this team in 2002. Nigel Mansell won the championship in 1993, 1 year after winning the Formula 1 World Championship. And Bruno Junqueira has had 5 wins over the last few seasons. Paul Tracy won a couple of races in 1995 when he drove for Newman Haas Racing. Christian Fittipaldi and Oriol Servia, 2 and 1 wins apiece. So that is a remarkable record that this team has put together. And at the beginning of the day, you'd have to say the odds were not strongly in favour of Bourdais adding to that victory tally. But again, that was then, and this is now, and here he is firmly out in front, and here's his teammate Graham Rahal. He's had a difficult day. There is Paul Newman. Great to see him back with the team this season. He's missed the first few races of this campaign. He was a little bit under the weather for those first 3 races, or effectively for the first race, and they were so close together, he wasn't really up to travelling, but great to see Paul here this weekend cheering on that team.
Join Motors TV this Saturday, June the 16th, for all the best coverage of the world's most important motor race, the 24 Hours from Le Mans. We start with the warm-up at 8 a.m. That's followed by the centenary race at 9 a.m. The replay of the warm-up at 10:30, followed by the Prix race at 11:30. And finally, in this centenary edition, the 70...
Thanks, Bill Stevens. The R-Sport team have had both of their drivers, Alex Tagliani and this man, Justin Wilson, they both had a 4th place finish this year. No podiums, we hope, until today. Justin Wilson now with just 2 minutes to go. We're thinking 2 laps left in this race for Sebastian Bourdais. Well out in front, about a 15-second gap back to this man, Justin Wilson. He can just keep it together for about another 3.5 miles now. He'll come away with a 2nd place finish. And certainly isn't what he wanted going into the weekend, but James, as you can attest, still a good haul from the weekend.
Absolutely, it's all about points. It's about championship and making sure you're always at the sharp end of the field at each race. And you know, Justin really didn't have the pace at the beginning of the season that people were expecting out of him. His teammate on the R Sports team, Alex Tagliani, often outpaced him for the first 3 races. And you know, not to say that he shouldn't. Tag is a fantastic driver in his own right, but I think people were really expecting Justin to step up with this new car and hoping that it would bring a little bit more parity amongst the teams. But in true Newman Haas Lanigan form, they've managed to adapt quicker and better to this car than has anyone else, and that's proving today that Sebastian Bourdais out in front. I've just got to be. I wonder how many times Justin Wilson's finished second to Sebastian Bourdais. Not just how many times he's finished second, but how many times he's done it to Sebastian. It's got to be a little bit frustrating for him. And even though second is a good points haul, you always do want to come away with the victory. You see Catherine Legg there. The festival curves with just less than a minute remaining. Sebastian Bourdais will be getting the white flag for the final lap of the race on this time by, and she seems to have gone out. She's lost power to the motor of that car, and will look like she'll not be able to finish. That is tragic, so close to the end.
Yeah, particularly with all the other 16 cars still running, that'll relegate her to the 17th and final position if she's unable to keep it going again. There goes Sebastian Bourdais, gets the one lap to go now, just less than 2 miles for Sebastian Bourdais. He's been content there, he's tucked in behind Dan Clark. Tagliani in 5th, Dan Clark in 6th, and it's looking good, isn't it? He's 5 times Justin Wilson's finished in second best. I think they're all to Sebastian Bourdais in actual fact through his champ car career, but still it's been a good day, as you say, for Justin Wilson. But it's all about this man, the second half of the day, Sebastian Bourdais. We've said it so many times in the past. This is just his 63rd start in the Champ Car World Series. Incredible winning percentage. He's won 40% of his races. That's better than Michael Schumacher in Formula One. He ran a remarkable 91 races in Formula One out of 249 starts, a winning percentage of 36.5. Juan Manuel Fangio in the 50s won almost 50% of his races. But there's Sebastian Bourdais, another tremendous performance by him. There are the twin checkered flags. Yet another victory for Sebastian Bourdais.
Way to struggle through this weekend. It wasn't that easy, guys. Congratulations to everybody. Newman Haas Racing's 100th.
And there you go. You heard it on the radio. It's important.
Kenny Seebeck there, down to Cameron Steele.
Trying to catch up here with Mr. Paul Newman, and he's here with Carl Haas, of course. And congratulations all the way around. Kathy Lauterbach coming in for congratulations, Paul. Congratulations on your 100th win as a team owner. Congratulations on your 100th win as a team owner.
Yeah, it's that kid is quite a phenomenon. He has, and he's got a great crew too. So, unbeatable combination.
Definitely a tough combination to beat, and a tough weekend starting out for Sebastian, but he seems to be able to overcome just about anything.
Well, I think he was 18 seconds down at one point, and he finished 13, and he was loafing at the last. So.
Another amazing performance for Newman Haas Lanigan. Congratulations, gentlemen. Another great day here for the McDonald's car.
Yeah, thanks, Cameron Steele. It was a great effort for that whole organisation. They never got their heads down today. They were struggling in the early stages, comparatively, running as low as 5th place. But a great strategy, a short fill on the first fuel stop. Some excellently quick laps by Sebastian Bourdais. They turn that gap around, they get him up into 2nd place, and then little by little, he closes in on the race leader, Justin Wilson, makes the pass, and never looks back. Win number 26 for Sebastian Bourdais. It was a tremendous effort by him, and we're going to get down to the pit lane momentarily. There is Sebastian Bourdais, and he's getting used to this, isn't he? He's done it, as I said, 26 times. Just amazing in just 63 attempts. Just unrivaled in Champ Car history. The man is rewriting the record books just about every time he gets in the car. Down to Cameron Steele, who's with our race winner, Sebastian Bourdais.
Well, Rick, I've caught up with Sebastian, his 26th win. He's getting high fives all around from the team. And Sebastian, we'll get him down off the car. It wasn't the easiest weekend of racing for you, but you overcame everything to bring home the 100th win for Newman Haas Lanigan.
Yeah, it's like this race unfolded like a dream. You know, at the beginning, I was really surprised that Will got up to where he was, because you know, it felt like everybody took pretty much the same start, and it was actually very good for that. I don't think anybody stole, so pretty happy that my bad visions didn't happen. But after that, the McDonald's car was just blindingly fast, and we could save more fuel than the others, and then show that we had the better pace.
What about the pass for the lead on Wilson? That was pretty treacherous gopher there.
Well, it wasn't cold tires, so I knew I was, I had a very short window to get it done, and I think we put on a good show today.
Definitely putting on a great show. Sebastian Bourdais taking home the win here in Portland.
5 times Sebastian Bourdais has been here to Portland. He's led in all 4 races here. A remarkable effort for him. He won the race here in 2004, and now he gets back to victory lane after an absolutely flawless drive once again by Sebastian Bourdais. He's just put it to everybody, as he does on a pretty regular basis. But still, you've got to take your hat off to Justin Wilson. They've been struggling this weekend relatively, but they had some very good tests over the last few weeks, and they've come away with a second-place finish for Justin Wilson here in Portland. And after the way the season started, they've got to be happy with that. Bill Stevens.
It's a while for Justin Wilson, second year in a row, a second-place finish here, but not through lack of effort, Justin. You really drove hard today.
Gave it everything I had. The first stint, I saw that everyone was bottled up behind me, so I just made out and went as quick as I could, but saving fuel. And I knew we had a pretty good car, but it wasn't quite good enough.
Impressive nonetheless.
It certainly was impressive for Justin Wilson. Let's have a look at the rookie points after the 4th round of the championship. Robert Dornbosch will extend his lead in the Roche-Fran's Rookie of the Year standings. Now 28 points clear of Graham Rahal. Tristan Gomondy, an excellent run to finish.
A 3rd place finish for you.
7.
Another podium finish, though. Your thoughts on the day?
No, of course, another podium is great for the team. I'm just disappointed. The first stint we lost the race there. I was expecting to challenge Justin. I had a good start. We're side by side into turn 1, and the red tires just didn't work for us today. The setup just was too oversteery, and I just saw him leave like a rocket, so I felt quite bad, and then I recovered in the 2nd and 3rd stint to catch a podium.
Well, 3rd place isn't bad. We'll see you in Cleveland.
Thank you.
Back up to the booth.
Yeah, very good job by Robert Dornbosch, and he's almost mirroring the remarkable debut that Nigel Mansell made in this championship back in 1993. Nigel won his first race, of course, that was at Surfers Paradise. Then he had 2 podium finishes after that. He was 3rd and 3rd in his next 2 starts. The interesting part, of course, in between there's his 2nd attempt at starting a champ car race was at Phoenix, where he just about demolished the wall. So in his first attempts at the champ car start, Nigel Mansell had 3 podium finishes. He actually went on to win the 4th race as well, and Robert Dornbosch has almost matched that. 3 podium finishes in his first 4 starts. Look at that, though. Sebastian Bourdais extends his lead over Will Power, but it's still only 11 points, and Robert Dornbosch, just remarkable, the young Dutchman in 18th points, and he has been the revelation of this season so far, James.
Well, he's been a rookie sensation, and he's been duking it out with the veterans, so it's very impressive to see him up in 3rd. Of course, Alex Tagliani and Justin Wilson, the R Sports team, in 4th and 5th. Not bad for them.
No, indeed, and particularly for Justin Wilson. He was 8th in points coming into this weekend, so he's now got himself up into the top 5 and has a bit of momentum on his side as well.
And that matters so much with these race teams, and to get the atmosphere of the team up a little bit. A 2nd place for him is the first podium for R Sports and its new as a new entity. So those guys will be really looking forward to getting to Cleveland in 2 weeks' time and trying to repeat this and maybe go one step more.
Something old, something new, something borrowed, something green. Serve it back up, love. That's it.